Okay. So many of us in the field of learning resources are involved in both collection development as well as programming. So I'm very excited for our next presentation. Arinthia Heron with Florida Southwestern State College. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing about your project today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. So good morning, everyone. My name is Arinthia Heron. I'm one of the librarians here at Florida Southwestern State College, and I am in charge of collection management and development of our print collection. And I just want to share with you some of the work that we have done over the past couple of years now in really working on aligning our collection with what the college is offering in terms of programming. Unfortunately, collection management and development kind of took a background as enrollment started to grow at our institution. Just as an FYI, you may know us as Edison State College. We have since changed our name, so if you're like, Florida Southwestern, who is that? We're the college formerly known as Edison. So enrollment was really going up, which increased our demand for research instruction and reference desk hours. So unfortunately, upstairs in our stacks, we had a collection that was full of dust, some mystery stains, and as we found out, some questionable content. So our collection, in other words, really didn't do a great job at supporting the college's programming offerings. So we came up with a new plan, and some of the goals for that new plan were to align the collection with the college's programming and curriculum. So looking at those degrees, we have AS, AA, and 4 bachelor's programs, as well as many certificate programs. And we wanted to see, what the college is offering and how our collection can better support that programming and curriculum. And we wanted to shift from a subject area-driven collection plan to a program-driven collection plan. And what I mean by that is previously, our collection development was, okay, this month we're going to take the A's. We're going to go through and we'll order in that area. And then we went to the B's. And while that worked and we had a large collection, it wasn't really targeted at what was being taught at the college. And we were looking to increase the student use of our circulating print collection and decrease the overall age of the collection. So in the summer of 2015, we started a massive weeding collection. Weeding project, excuse me. The first round of weeding really looked at the collection as a whole, and we just kind of had the mindset of, okay, let's get in there, let's get into the stacks and really pull out the junk. And as I will show you, we found some junk. We weeded based on condition. So here you can see some severely water damaged materials, one of those great mystery stain books. And I don't think you can really tell in this picture, but there were ants trapped between the book and the laminate cover on this particular poor monograph there. We weeded based on age and content. So as you can see, this first book here, Learning to Write and Writing to Learn, back cover there next to it, not really appealing to our students, right? The Adoption of Black Children, which copyright date was 1979. I'm kind of horrified that that was in our collection upstairs. And from 1964, this How to Teach Police Subjects, Theory and Practice, that has flip sheets and moving picture films as some of their great instructional technology. And physical education for blind children that has an activity that promotes tying a child up in gym class, because what parent wouldn't love to have their kid tied up in gym class? So you guys are probably feeling a little bit better about your collections right now. And if you're not, stay tuned, because you can see how we greatly improved our collections, and hopefully it can help you do the same. So in the fall of 2015, we started working on what we called our collection map. And basically what happened there was the librarians created a document that listed every single degree offering and program at the college. And it had the following information in it: the total enrollment for the program, The accrediting bodies, of course, SACS is our overall accrediting body, but there are certain programs like our paralegal program, our nursing programs, that have their own special accrediting bodies, which are helpful for librarians to remember when we're developing the collection and managing the collection as well, to make sure that we're meeting those specific needs of those accrediting bodies. And then we also broke down each subject area for those specific programs. So what area of the Library of Congress system fits in with that particular degree program, and we added the title count that we had for that particular year to this document. And I have an example of that here on the next slide. So this was for our BS in nursing program. You can see that we included a link to the program's webpage, that special accrediting body that they have over in our School of Health Science, or sorry, Health Professions, which campuses they're offered on. This particular degree is offered online, the enrollment, primary users, what our funding source in the library was for that. And then you can see where we broke down for the individual classification ranges there and how many titles we owned in the 2014-2015 school year. To do this, each librarian was assigned a different program area, and they were given a template to use to fill in data from institutional research. We have a wonderful Office of Institutional Research that has made all of this available to us, the enrollment information, all that kind of stuff. Most of it is online. If we had any questions, they were super quick to respond, so they were really, really helpful for us doing this. And then, of course, we used our own shelf reports and things that were generated by our ILS. So once we had our collection map all done, in 2016, we started working on some collection management again, and using that map as a guideline to really have a good idea of what was on the shelves after our massive weeding project. We started looking at those bachelor degree programs because we felt like those were probably some of our highest research needs in terms of what our students were doing. So we started looking for missing content in those areas, relevancy to what's being taught, and of course, age. So you can, this is super tiny little font, but we began to look even closer to see what was on the shelves in those areas. This is an example of what we broke down for our nursing program. You can see that we have the title count for the 2014-2015 year, the titles loaned, so how many of those actually went out of the library, and how many times did those go out of the library? And then again, of course, the average age. So as you can see, the average age of our nursing collection was 2005, which for something in the health professions is kind of long in the tooth. So we started a weeding project round 2, again, using those great quiet months in the summer. We looked specifically again at those bachelor's programs, went through and really weeded with a mind to those specific individual programs. We then moved on in the fall of 2016 to start ordering within that new framework. So we got rid of titles. We have to replace those titles, but we want to thoughtfully replace those titles. So our BS in nursing program was up for reaccreditation in 2017, and we found that our LOC range was the highest circulating and one of our oldest collections. So that kind of made it our obvious first choice for our first round of ordering. At the beginning of each semester, each librarian was given one of our subclasses of our Library of Congress range, and they were given a target number of titles to order. So they went through and saw, again, those holes, what we're missing, how old a lot of the stuff is, what's being taught in our nursing program. Our nursing program is moving towards an evidence-based degree program. They're really trying to look at more stuff that's based in clinical practices and things like that. So knowing that and talking to nursing faculty, we really started to order based on, again, their curricula and their program offerings. And because of that, we added 80 thoughtfully chosen titles to our nursing area, and we decreased the overall age of that collection. So we don't have a lot of circulation data right now because we've just now started ordering, and hopefully we'll be able to see that students are enjoying our new, more streamlined collection. But you can see that from 2014 until I believe that I pulled this last amount of data in January, maybe February of 2017, that we've almost cut our total print titles in half here on the Fort Myers campus. It's our largest collection of our 4 sites. So it's kind of the most dramatic deduction that, or yes, deduction in titles that you can see. But you can also notice that not only have we dropped the number of titles that we have so that things are easier to find on the shelf, things are prettier and nicer, and students are hopefully more willing to pick up our titles than something that's old and dusty and falling apart and from 1960. We've also decreased the overall age of the collection by adding newer titles into that. So that's pretty much what I had, what we've done so far anyway. Going towards the future, what we're going to do. So we have that whole rest of the collection, right? That's psychology and humanities and literature, those general education subject areas. So our next step in this is to start looking at general education subject areas. We'd like to look at the general education areas as its kind of own program area and build a collection based on what our students are being taught in the classroom and the things that they're going to be exploring through research to continue our plans to create that streamlined and well-used collection. So I'm kind of hoping to get in touch with the General Education Committee for our college. They have representatives from all the different subject areas. And we are looking to get in touch with them and explain to them what we've been doing. So hopefully they can go back to their departments and get their departments excited about this, and hosting workshops with faculty to ask them, what are you teaching? How can we support the library support your print collection, support what you're teaching in your print collection better, and explain the benefits of those print materials for student research. We've noticed a lot that professors are very excited about our databases, which is wonderful. We have a great comprehensive database collection. But I think oftentimes faculty kind of lose track of the fact that our students are baby scholars, right? They don't necessarily need to immediately jump right into that thick academic scholarly journal article yet. They need some background information, and that background information can be found in our print materials. And then once we've kind of started doing all this with the general education subject areas, we hope to then go in 5 years, refresh our collection map so that we can stay on track, make sure that everything is still staying in line with what's being taught, and then continue our collection management and development with an eye towards our curriculum and our programming in FSW. So I think I saw some questions popping up over here at the sides. Let me just open up my...
Yeah, it looks like we have some questions around ebooks. How did you factor in your ebook collection into this?
We have not. We were looking primarily at our print collection. We actually have someone else who is in charge of doing the development of our ebook collection, our e-resources. So this was with a mind to cleaning up the over 40,000 titles that we had upstairs.
Mm-hmm. There's certainly a lot of research on the benefits of weeding. It'll be interesting to see your circulation stats and how you're affected, moving forward, which is, this looks like an incredible project. It's a lot of work. This is great.
It was a lot of work, yes. I'm very fortunate to have some great colleagues who all pitched in and helped out and didn't grumble about having to go through and weed during the summers. And we're very happy to go in and order some new stuff. We also saw some interesting research that showed that paperback books were more likely to circulate than hardcover. So we've been trying to order more paperback titles. So we'll see how that works out too.
It's also friendlier on the budget.
Yes, yes.
Could you talk just a little bit before about your process? So was it librarians actually making the decision, or did you involve any student workers or staff, paraprofessional staff, or anything like that?
It was mainly the librarians. We have some great library assistants who were helping us run a bunch of shelf reports because, you know, sometimes the librarians are a little useless when it comes to the ILS. But they helped us out tremendously there. But in terms of the management, the weeding projects, and the ordering and things like that, that was pretty much librarian driven. I see that Claire was asking if we had any panic about books disappearing. Yes, we did. A lot. We tried to explain to some of our more concerned faculty members that, you know, if you see something that you believe we absolutely need to have on the shelves, we're happy to order a new copy of it. And we tried to explain what we were doing in terms of trying to align the collection with the curricula, and that we had a lot of stuff in the collection that was just out of date. And we had to remind them that we're not a university, you know, we're a state college. So there's a lot of the older stuff that just doesn't make sense for us. And for the most part, they were pretty okay and calmed down once we explained to them that we're happy to reorder something, you know, if we weeded something that you're absolutely, you know, appalled by, and that, you know, we do have a plan. We're not just getting rid of books to get rid of books. Mm-hmm. And what did we do with the books? We put them out on a cart and we said, take them. And we were shocked at some of the horrible moldy things that went home with people. But that seems to be the best way for us to get rid of things, is just to put it out and say free books.
Yeah, we do that too, and with the same response. Whoa, really? Okay. No, that sounds good. What has this stimulated your thought process on sort of how to promote this new to you collection? I mean, it must look different, you know, when you're walking through the stacks and so forth. Has that influenced your instruction techniques or any kind of
yeah, it has. Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually working with a group of faculty members who are talking about creating effective research assignments. And I'm the library kind of representative on this workshop that we've been doing a couple of times. And I've been trying to sell the print collection more now that I feel more confident in what we have upstairs, and explaining the benefits of that print collection. And I do the same thing in my research instruction. I explain to students that, you know, in the database articles, which are absolutely wonderful for your research, they're going to jump you right into a topic. They're going to just assume you have that background information. As to where a book is going to have a whole introductory chapter, it's going to be able to give you more of that great background information and give you a better idea of how to put those research articles that you're finding in the databases into a greater context.
That's a really good point. I personally, I pretty much only have success with the literature, you know, compilations, you know, actually wheeling in the cart of books with those on it. But I've been trying to branch out and do it with other subjects. So so kudos to you for continuing the mission. But that's great. That's great. Were there any other last questions about this very large collection development project? And I really do like your the curriculum map. I don't know if you'd be willing to share a copy of that. I'm happy to put it on the LibGuide for those who are interested.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah, great. I can do that.
Thank you. Thank
you. Well, Wendy had a question.
Oh, Wendy. Yeah, we did talk about that, but
oh, my apologies. I must have missed that one.
They put them on a cart and people are allowed to take them. So yeah, so that's great. Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing this project. We really do appreciate it today.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for attending.
Thanks.